Hey there everyone, and welcome back to Isla Napali. Yeah, last episode was actually the guest flow episode yesterday. I needed to move that because reasons, and in today's episode we are going to spend a look at the stuff area, which I've kind of introduced yesterday to myself, so I need to work around that now, and this is what happens this episode. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Awesome, so here we are now in today's episode. So to talk about, because I think you guys really appreciated that recently, that I was talking more about what I'm building. So I will do this kind of the same in the first couple of minutes here as well. But then I need to talk about something else, which is quite important to me. And I hope that you guys will stick with me until this very point in time, which might not that far into the video. However, first of all, let's talk about what I'm doing here in today's episode, because it will be fairly, the progress is not too crazy, but it is kind of a something done, right? After this episode, there is something done. So we will build actually this little area over here, which is basically only a stuff related area, which is a little bit of a recovery area, but it also looks a bit shabby, just as it would be in the middle of this coaster. I try to focus on making it really realistic and also making it really narrowed into, I kind of, squeezed into this little gap we have over here. I wanted to build a little bit of a connection between this wooden element we have from the coaster and then where I put the staff room, which, as you might know from yesterday's episode, if you haven't seen the guest flow episode, by the way, you might want to check that out, because we had a huge struggle. So basically the whole episode was only me trying to figure out where to put that freaking stuff building. It was actually really hard to find a spot that is, for once, looking good, secondly, not kind of destroying the layout and sticking into something here, and the third thing is then we need to be able to connect the path to it without making it look like an actual path. So yeah, kind of tricky, to be honest. However, I wanted to squeeze this in so that this really seems to be a tight area, which is not really, that people can't really see. The basic idea about this is that it is really in the middle of this whole coaster, and no matter where you are around this area, but also where you are on this coaster, you shouldn't be able to see this stuff area. The idea behind that is that if the stuff people go in here, and I know that might not be the best area to recover, since it potentially is pretty loud in there. So this is also why I thought that this room would be, if at all, it would be squeezed into this area, and then maybe from the interior it is a bit more, I don't know, sound wise, better secured, I don't know. So it might have even a basement area where you can go down to maybe be not that disturbed from the sound of the coaster, but it's actually not an area where you would be able to sleep or whatnot, because if you guys have been on a wooden coaster already, and especially on an old one, you will know that it's fairly loud. It's super loud, and yeah, so that's why it wouldn't make too much sense to have like a recovery area too much. But other than that, we do not have really that kind of a chance to put it in anywhere else. So I thought, I just do what I need to do here, and this is make this a proper backstage area. And it's not really like in any other park, because again, Isla Napali is more or less naturally grown from what has been in the past, more or less a botanical garden, or only just a garden island, I would say. So there are a few things that are pretty much different here. So the planning of this whole hasn't been around a theme park in the first place. It has been more around like a, I don't know, I should say touristy area, but even more in the past it has been more like a simple village where people have been living. So quite a few structures have been here already, and this makes this whole project so much of a struggle at some points, but also gives me a bit of freedom to do things a little bit differently than you would do it if this would be a realistic planned park, if you will, because then things like that wouldn't happen over here. But since we are in a more or less like free project, this is kind of what can be done, and so I'm going a little bit more free here, and yeah, that's why. And as you can see, I'm putting some stuff in here, which somewhat would work here, but it's not that I was spending too much time on finding those suitable pieces. I will do though. I will definitely spend some more time next week searching a bit more through the workshop. I haven't done this for a while now, so I'm hoping for some proper new backstage pieces from the TMT. I have no idea how active the TMT still is. I have seen that the amount of pieces that are introduced within a week are dramatically going down, which I think is due to the fact that the TMT kind of didn't work out as it, maybe as I also was hoping for, but many people already had the feeling at the very beginning, and I have to admit that those people are right. But I didn't even meant to do this, but this is the perfect segue into the topic I wanted to talk about. Now, if you guys are interested in only this episode now, and you don't really spend too much thoughts into how I feel and what I do, you might just skip forward a few minutes until I have finished with that, because I don't bother if you don't, if you're not interested in that. It's totally fine. But the last week now, with all the Planet Zoo content, was really cool. It was really good. Brought in a lot of new people to the channel, it seems, or maybe that's the other thing, made some kind of sleeping giants, I should say, sleeping people from the channel getting awake and active in the comment sections. And here's me to say that there are a few things in my life that are pretty important to me, and for once it's being honest. Being honest for me is a pretty important thing. I did deal with a lot of negativity and also a lot of lies within my family, which I don't want to talk too much about. It's not the place to talk about, but I encountered a lot of stress and a lot of bad things that have been purely created by lies. And so I'm really allergic against lies, which is a bit of a thing that leads me to being very honest. And I think it's also kind of the key why I'm having such a happy life with my wife, for example, also, and also with all the friends here on YouTube and so on. Now, with this fact being honest comes that I'm talking my mind off, right? I'm just talking about stuff in here that I feel like is right to talk about, and is the thing I'm thinking. I'm not trying to hide something away to make the happy YouTube person, right? That's not gonna happen. But this is also why I need to talk about now that I'm seriously pissed about some of the comments. And I'm really, I'm just naming it the fact how it is. I'm seriously pissed about people that constantly moan about things, not even trying to consider thinking a simple second about what they say, and this is even, that's kind of fine, I could just ignore them. I don't care, it's YouTube, I mean, it's the internet. What do I even expect, right? It's more that they continue also dragging people into this stream of negativity with their weird opinion, I should say. I don't even want to call that opinion, it's kind of shit talk, I should say. Let me just give you a broad overview about the topic. It's pretty simple. It's basically the question if Planet Zoo should be integrated in this wonderful game what we are looking at right now, which is Planet Coaster, or if it should be an own standing game. And I kind of would be very open to this discussion if Planet Zoo would have been just announced, like seriously a few days ago or whatever, without having too many info about this, or detailed info. But that's not the case. We do know a lot of things about Planet Zoo by now, and this also is way more than we needed to know, that it never would have been a DLC or an additional content to Planet Coaster in the way the game looks right now. So yes, I agree to a certain degree that it could have been a kind of wild DLC-ish thing for people that are not too much interested into zoos, that are just kind of want to have a few animals and put them into parks without any further look into management or whatnot, because that's kind of something that could have happened, right? I totally agree that this could have worked. But then we are talking about a kind of wild expansion pack degree of things. And I think we all agree on the fact that if we are talking about great zoo games, we are never gonna mention Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 Wild, because it's not a zoo game. It's an extension to a theme park simulation. And this is the same thing with Planet Coaster. That's the, let's say, just that's kind of the talk, what we need to do when we're talking about the genre and the main goal of a game. But from what is way more important for me is that there are a few actual reasons given, hard facts, if you will, like reliable things that are really these are giving. It's really hard to put that into, you know, phrases and words, and, you know, that kind of makes sense and can say what I want to say in not my native language. Even I couldn't say that in German because it's really hard with my emotions behind that. So let me try that. There is a limitation in technology, and I am not a programmer at all. I am not a PC genius, as some people were sarcastically calling me or whatnot. I'm just a person that likes to think logically, and if people would be open to kind of listen in the first place to things, they would have understand that, or they would be able to understand, I should put it that way, that there is a technical limitation to why the game is a standalone game in the way it is right now. So please always keep in mind we're talking about a game that is as detailed and as crazily moved towards a better simulation than Planet Coaster. I think we all agree, and, you know, I hate to say that, but Planet Coaster is not a great management game in the first place. It has some great strengths in this area, but it is not a great management game of that kind. It's an amazing and outstanding sandbox game, and this is what it keeps this game alive for such a long time. But we will all agree that it is not a fairly superb management game, and this is totally fine because Frontier learned from it. They learned from it and they are willing to improve. But, you know, exactly this is the core reason why this needs to be an own standing game. A theme park game is a completely different approach on a management game than a zoo. There are so many things that are in the core of what is the management is different. So let alone this would have been enough already to understand this. Okay, now as this is defined, I just want to go back again to the discussion in the comments. When I then reply to people that are constantly just going in and doing nothing else, like, yeah, meh, it looks kind of okay, but it just looks good, it will be boring after a time, you know, and I still don't know why Frontier is that stupid to not make it as an expansion to Planet Coaster. It would have been so much better. Yeah, okay, thank you for this, but there's like no freaking argument in your phrase, in your statement. Please give me one valid argument why this should be, again, knowing how Planet Zoo looks right now. And this would drive me crazy. I hate when people go out, like politicians or so, and they're just putting out statements and they have no evidence, and then calling other people that are asking them questions based in evidence are going nuts, you know. This is something I really hate. However, we've already reached, sorry for that, but we've already reached the cinematics in this video. So please don't hate me for the rant, but I needed to get this off my chest. I hope you enjoyed this little Planet Coaster Isla Napali episode today. Again, we didn't do that much, and I'm also not sure if we can get an episode done for Sunday, because I am away tomorrow in Burgers Zoo in Arnhem, which actually was today, because I'm recording one day ahead. And so I don't know if this happens. If so, you will definitely see that on my channel. And please let me know in the comments down below what you think about this episode. Please don't let's not continue the talk. I just want to get that off my chest. Let me know what you think about this episode. If you liked it, give it a like. And yeah, hope to see you in the next one without me ranting, actually playing the game. Bye, guys.
We may find